Okay, I'm not gonna lie, it is quite difficult to make an overview of an S block, especially which of these questions are considered part of the lore and which are considered memes or unimportant, so I will cover most of the askers. The first question that was asked to Ask Sænz in the entire Ask Sænz Ask block is: do you do anything in your spare time other than erasing glitches in the game? Sænz explains that he plays with his puppets, this being sænz Classic, sænz Abnormally number 13, and whenever that gets boring, he just gets out of his way and gets some new ones. Another question is, are he and his brother still close, which Sænz can't answer and won't answer. Another asker comments how cute his nose looks, which results into Sænz blushing thanks to the compliment. When asked if he is a villain, he states that he is just doing his job, a thankless job. No one hired him, he's just started doing it. And if you're going to work a job, you might as well going to enjoy this. Who cares if you take a couple of trophies? Who cares if some dirty hacker dies? It's all in good fun. And well, if you think that makes Sænz a villain, who is he to judge? Another asker asks if Sænz is never bored in this empty void, and we see a sad display of Sænz playing with his dolls. When asked how crazy is he answers rude, since he doesn't believe he himself is crazy. And when someone asks if they can get boned by Sænz bones them with actual bones. When asked if he was lazy, he answers that he was lazy for a long time, since when he first appeared in this empty void, all he did was sleep, since he didn't understand what exactly was happening. And so to cope with everything, he started sleeping until it was boring. And then he talked, he yelled, he screamed and kept screaming. And when screaming didn't work, since no one answered his screams and no one would answer these screams and help him, the only communication he had was hearing his own screams. This of course brings Sænz into a bit of distress and he starts glitching away. And asked by the asker if it's not a bit hypocritical since of Sænz to delete glitches since he himself is a glitch, Sænz answers that he is just doing his job, since no one else in this entire multiverse is willing to take out the garbage, this being other alternative universes. He himself sees himself as an anomaly since he names himself Abnormally number 1. When asked for a hug, he states that he dislikes physical contact and has an immense fear of being touched. Also, Sænz has his own opinion about Gaster and Frisk. He states that Gaster is nothing more than a glitch that is maybe hard to find, but whenever he is found by Sænz, he will eventually kill him. Frisk, however, is an anomaly that he has been trying to hunt down for a long time. They first met Frisk in a timeline where somehow Undyne was the only survivor, which of course enrages Sænz since this isn't supposed to happen in an original timeline. Even though Sænz sees Undyne as one of their closest friends, they're ready themselves to eradicate Undyne and eradicate the timeline. But right at that moment, Frisk appeared and states like, "Oh my god, Sænz, what the bloody hell has happened to you? Let me bloody help you. Whatever happened to you, I can help you." And Sænz states, "Git, you're very badly mistaken. I'm here to help you." Needless to say, having not known this kid's power resulted into Frisk's escape and as well as Undyne's escape to a timeline called the Omega Timeline, where all the leftovers defect, which Sænz calls them, are placed. Sænz's job now is to find this Omega Timeline and eradicate every single one of these defects in these dead timelines, since it would make his job way more easier if he would actually find the Omega Timeline and eradicate all these dirty glitches, as he calls them. We also get a sweet conversation with one asker at Sænz, where an asker wants to shake Sænz's hand, while another asker sneaks up behind Glitch Sænz and hugs him while he's not paying attention, which of course results into bloody Sænz yeeting this Anon into the void, since he has a bloody fear of being touched. Anyways, another asker asks Sænz why there doesn't exist an underswap puppet of Sænz, and well, Sænz doesn't want to talk about about Underswap. Another asker asks why sænz didn't already erase Underswap if, in his eyes, Underswap should also be erased. Well, and we get an interesting conversation where he states that he was almost done eradicating the whole entire Underswap universe, but there was one problem he encountered, which was a bit of a problem, and he starts to sweat intensely, stating that he will deal with Underswap later. This one problem being Underswap Papyrus, who is apparently strong enough to bloody beat sænz and bring him into a panic attack just about thinking of him. Well, we can only say that OG Underswap Papyrus is not someone you should mess with. But also Power Scaler will once again state, he just manipulates the reader. There's no way sænz can lose to Underswap Papyrus. Well, it has to be stated, he does. Anyways, sænz started noticing that he's still holding one of the Anons hand. The other Anon started shipping this Anon with sænz. Since sænz doesn't understand what the word shipping means, he still holds this Anon's hand. But when some other Anon explained to sænz what shipping is, he starts having a breakdown and states that apparently he was taking advantage of him and he doesn't like it when he's being toyed with, which of course results into this Anon being yeeted out of existence. But they're not dead because sænz still sees them as a friend, so they are fine for now. Who's not fine, however, is sænz, since a lot of the askers call him names. While LoverofPiggies explains that it's not that he doesn't care, he is so nuts that he can't even comprehend how incorrect he is, timeline-wise. If sænz truthfully honestly comprehend his hypothesis and as an extent of that his clear and obvious self-loathing, he probably kill himself in a heartbeat. But where exactly is sænz located? He himself is not pretty sure, but once he got to know his power and got a hang of it, coming and going from timeline to timeline, universes to universes became way too easy. At first, this place, the void, was for him a prison, but now that he can manipulate its code, he found himself discovering all these interesting worlds. He could go anywhere, but with so many universes existence, everything is so nosy. So this is why he wants to erase them. When asked how he feels about all the voices, aka the askers, sænz states that most of them are pretty cool and pretty nice, while some, well, are not that. He's also very thankful for all the support and for the many asked questions. When another person asks him how sænz feels when he destroys the wrong universes, aka glitch universes, explains that it feels actually pretty amazing. But this amazement is stopped when asked about what happened in Underswap, and sænz decides to actually showcase what actually happened. But I will showcase what actually happened in the next part, or in the next part, since I need to cover some other interaction that happens in the ask block, so be hyped for that.